Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the Bitchuation Room show. I am your host, Francesca Fiorentini. Why, thank you so much for pressing play. Thank you so much for stopping by, for clicking on the things, for deciding I can't be alone for a single moment without content. What am I supposed to do? Dry my hair in silence? No. This is going to be a great show, you guys. I'm glad you tuned in. RM Brown is here. If you don't know, his quite satirical, well-crafted, edited media reaction videos on YouTube. They've really broken through, and very excited to have him on. We're going to be talking. I just called all the dumbest stuff for everybody. All right. Yeah, okay, there's a little bit of Elon trying to buy a Supreme Court seat, but that's still in the realm of dumb. We're going to be talking about Nick Fuentes turning on Trump. Is this the revelation we've been waiting for? We're going to talk about John Fetterman being the absolute most genocidal senator. And he's just got there. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's so many more war crimes as a senator you can commit. And like he's already like, nope. Let's keep going. Let's start off strong. We're going to talk about Kim Kardashian, who has been long hawking Elon's wares, namely Tesla and Cybertrucks, who has a limit. She's got a line, people. We're going to find what that line is. And we're going to understand some Mennonites, all right? We're going to try to understand what is going on in West Texas. Beautiful place, really beautiful. Shame that there's so many. Shame about the measles. You know what I'm saying? Just a lot of too bad. If you are here, please make sure you are liking and sharing the stream. Or if you're listening as a podcast, give this podcast 5 stars wherever you listen. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, other things that didn't survive against Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It's going to be a really good show. And also, by the way, this is the third leg of a 3-pronged Bitchuation Room. And our show on Wednesdays is our bonus episode. And it's free to stream live. But if you want to listen or watch it back, you got to become a patron. Patreon.com/Bitchuation Room is where you go to do that. We had an excellent show on Wednesday. It was fun. It was more fun than I thought it would be. In addition to interviewing the wonderful Tourmaline, an artist who just wrote a book about Marsha P. Johnson, the transgender activist, legend of Stonewall. We also talked about the guy from Pirates Booty who's trying to pull a Doge in New Jersey. And it's just, it's good stuff. It's he's trying. You know what I'm saying? He can't get far because of all the Pirates Booty. I don't know. Don't know how to fat shame him. He is a successful businessman, and I am here. You know what I'm saying? But it's a good story. Get access to that. You can also become a member on YouTube or on Twitch. Support the show. I'm not one of the like big blue bubbles on the Media Matters, little rundown, but I hope to be a small speck one day. Just a little meep. There's a Bitchuation. She's a woman. Nah, kick her off the list. She's not getting to the men. She's not making them hard fast enough. I'm sorry. I don't know what. Honestly, I don't know what it is. Her tits aren't up to her chin. All right. I'm done. And we're done. And now let me bring in for the rest of the show, which I cannot promise will be sane or within the realm of intelligible, actually. Please welcome RM Brown.
Hey, thanks for having me. Thanks for having me in the Bitchuation Room.
Bienvenidos.
Reporting live. Bienvenidos. Adios mio. Back to you.
At one point, I will hope to have, like a little, like a table. It'd be very like Steve Bannon War Room. Or no,
Yes.
I feel like Glenn Beck had a better version of that. Like his new setup really did look like some sort of like, Power Rangers, like all white Power Rangers situation. Everyone's like,
yeah, he looks like he's locked in a room and he's just like talking to himself. Like there's nothing's connected, I imagine.
Yeah.
Like it's just like he's just there. The apocalypse has happened.
And he also looks like he's been like like he was cryogenically frozen as like a plantation owner and then came back. And he's like, why is he always wearing like coiffed? Like, why does he look like a slaver? You know what I'm saying?
He does. He does. That's his look. That's the look he's going for, I guess.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Colonel Sanders, plantation owner and all that. Anyway, Aaron Brown, thank you so much for being here. Look, I think I need to understand something about you before we move on, because you've
Shoot.
done
Anything.
on
Anything.
your channel,
Mm-hmm.
youtube.com/Aaron Brown. Is this right?
Like and subscribe.
Like and
please.
subscribe. You you do the thing that a lot of people that actually kind of is great, which is hate watching just intolerable shows like the PBD podcast, Patrick, Bet, David. And it's funny because like Matt, my husband, like he had no idea who they were. And like even I, like the fact that I don't even know my right-wing figures, but like this guy truly seemed to have come out of nowhere. And we're kind of in this moment, you know, on Tuesday we talked to Sam about Sam Cedar about like maybe the artificial inflation of some of these podcasts. But as someone who's like digested a lot of PBD and broken it down in a very funny way, do you think that their audience is organic? Like what's going on over there?
Oh, that's a good question. That it can't be. It can't be. I've watched so much of it, and mostly when I watch it, I'm like, how could anybody sit through this seriously? I mean, there are funny parts in it because they're like you put like four wacky guys in a room together, they're gonna like accidentally say something funny, you know?
Isn't
There's
that
some of
the
that.
premise of every pod? These were just wacky
We're just
guys.
wacky
We don't
guys.
believe women should vote. What about that?
They also have a lot of there seems to be a lot of like communication problems on that show. Like it's like one guy will start saying something and then PBD will be like, "That's not what we're talking about." You know, like just stuff like that's my favorite part of that show.
There's
when they're
not
just,
a
"Hey,
lot of
no."
yes-anding happening.
Oh my god, just blocking, just constant blocking. We need to get the PBD guys in like an improv class, some kind of UCB thing or something.
This is why I can't have a co-host, because I'd be like, yeah, you know, I'm terrible.
No, we're
at
not
improv.
doing that. We're not doing that.
Yeah,
Stop.
we're doing it. No, well, let's move on. That joke doesn't land. Anyway, but so PBD, for those of you who know, I thought they were all Guidos, like as an Italian. I was like, these are all Guidos, but Patrick Bet David is Iranian.
He's Iranian. Yep. He's got a kind of a New Jersey. I don't know what his backstory is exactly, like where he's from, but he does have a little bit of a Jersey. There's a little bit of a Jersey thing going on.
Sure.
I wanted to try to get his accent or his, an impression, and I was like, there's some Jersey in there. It feels like, but he definitely has. He went through like a phase on his show where he was having like those ex-mafia guys on who like always want to jump in front of a camera,
I don't know those guys. I'm glad I don't know those guys. Probably just a bunch of wacky guys in a room.
More wacky guys in a room. That's all you need.
I've determined that, I mean, first of all, I do think, and this is the last we'll say about it. I do think like the fact that he comes out of nowhere and he's like, I'm a very good businessman, whatever. I do think there's a little bit of like, yeah, y'all just bought a lot of bots. You know what I mean? If there's an entire cottage industry of like bot buying, view buying, boosting your own, juking your stats so you can like get, sell sponsors. A lot of people do it. And then there's those of us rubes who are like, I'm going to do it organically. Oh,
dumb.
4 years on, I could almost make half my rent. Like that's.
Yeah, we got to get on this bot game. We got to get just a bunch of fake people talking to each other in the chat. That's what we want. Just a slop audience.
But I mean, that's what we're like, the idea that like we're treating, the rights audience as if they're like, oh yeah, they're super, they're great, even though and they're all real people, even though we see who else is online, like on Twitter or on Instagram, and you're like, maybe just bots chatting. Bot chat is a very good segment.
Oh, bot chat for sure. Have you seen the thing where you can take audio? Like we could take the audio from this and put it into it's like a Google program, and it'll create a podcast out of it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like these two voices, and the weird thing is that's like everywhere now. Like I'll come across something, it's like, oh, they're talking about something that I'm kind of interested in, and then like 3 minutes in, I'll be like, this is fake. Those are robots, and then I'll feel like so tricked, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah. Is it just the way there is no like breath between their
it's
voices and the
Francesca. I'm
Kim Kardashian kicked Kanye West out of it. Like there's that, right?
yes, yes, yes. I'm telling you, Francesca, it sounds like NPR. Like NPR is going to be
Oh,
replaced by AI because they've matched that perfectly.
that would be
Uh,
so fun. And I'm
yeah.
very excited for the hearing between NPR, PBS, and Marjorie Green of Doge next week. But if
Hmm.
they just, it would obviously not be fun. Like I was listening to the local, our local station KCRW, which like honestly, just some of the best music here in LA to listen
Oh
to.
yeah.
I love it. Always like crushing it. But it is going to be funny to like hear all of the like if they do replace NPR with like AI, what that will be like, you know?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I do think
Yikes.
there is a part of me, and look, I love NPR and I love PBS, but sometimes when I turn on certain local NPR stations, like I get MAGA, you know? I'm like, okay, everyone is way too like just way too lip soft spoken and
Yes.
everything's problematic and it's just like it's white people telling other white people what is problematic that isn't problematic. So like on some levels I get it. That being said, we all support NPR and public radio. We must have that. It's very important. You know what?
They just need to talk louder. They just need to be there. They're competing with the most bombastic crap here on YouTube. I think they gotta drink a
And
Red Bull or something. I don't know.
totally drink a Red Bull. It's okay to get angry. It's okay to get excited. Everything can't just be like, I'm Kai Rizdal. Sorry, Kai.
Sorry, guy. No
You know,
offense. Shots fired.
nobody, no more people with three names. Okay. I'm
No.
Mary Louise Kelly. And, today, and then just like,
Welcome to Quiet Talk with Kai
yeah.
Rizdal.
Exactly. Welcome to Quiet Talk with I've already resigned to fascism many years ago. Oh, thank goodness they're at the door. Let's talk about Kanye. I don't
Yes.
want to talk about Kanye, but this no 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 no. Let's start. So I've one of the people I blocked on Instagram. Yes, I'm still on the heinous platform of Instagram. One of the people I blocked was Kim Kardashian because as a woman, maybe just as a person, you get fed so much Kim K and Kardashian like BS slop, speaking of slop. And I don't want it. I don't want any of it. I don't care. So then when you block someone, like I blocked a lot of Zionists in my life, you can't see like anything that they've posted or any discussion about them. So I kind of miss that Kim K's basically been hawking a lot of Tesla stuff and specifically the Cybertruck. This is her for the a magazine called Perfect Magazine. She owns a Cybertruck. She owns a Cybertruck. She gifted a Cybertruck to a friend of hers. There's like video of that, which I'm sure was free. And then she is posing for this magazine with
A
what is this?
robot. A robot.
So this is,
Wow.
I think it's SpaceX's Optimus,
Mm-hmm.
which can get a woman to completion within 2.5 minutes, which is hard because usually it's like 24 and a half. Just kidding. That's not, we don't even know what this robot does. Last I saw, they like moved Amazon packages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is their big thing. I watched like a Elon Musk, all teams meeting, and they're really hyping this thing.
Yeah.
This is
So
this is it. That oh look, I've made a lot of
oh, it's
promises.
Teslas. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, in the
Oh,
future.
look. Oh, look. So look there. This is a picture. If you're listening, it's a picture of the Tesla Optimus robot holding the Steadicam or whatever that's called, that is filming them. So
Selfie.
quite literally replacing the camera person,
Hmm.
you know, and like someone and a camera person is taking a photo of this robot, replacing them. Here she is, ass out on the beach. You can imagine if you're listening, cuddling with, again, her Optimus. Now, I was making this joke on another show the other day that the net, like obviously sex robots, all this, and like the idea of like making a like woman have boobs that are just like the shape of the Cybertruck, you know? And like, cause like, why would you like boobs are like, like nobody wants soft, warm, round. Ew. Give me cold,
Metallic.
pointy,
Pointy.
metallic. Like
Yes.
that's what we want.
Sharp.
Sharp.
I want to cup myself on those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cut when I cup. And so anyway, so what I'm trying to what I'm leading to is this woman is putting these images out now while Elon Musk is destroying our federal government. Like now while he's, tweeting out things like haha RIP Department of Education, Donald Trump's face leaning over like a grave. Like so she's not apolitical. She very political. So it is funny that it kind of has come, I don't know, to bite her a little bit in the ass, as it were, because the other day, and I don't want to look, Kanye West is clearly having a massive, I mean, I don't know what is going on. He's selling Klansman hoods. He put out a song recently, RM, that has P. Diddy on it.
Right.
And his daughter, Northwest, is rapping on this. But it turns out that, hang on. This is according to TMZ, and I apologize for the reporting. Kim and Ye's co-parenting relationship hit a new low Wednesday as he fired off a string of outrageous posts accusing Kim of being a sex trafficker, which is very, very funny because sources familiar with the situation tell us the issue of trafficking already came up last week during an emergency hearing over North. We're told Kim abruptly pulled the plug while North was visiting her dad because security guards informed her Andrew and Tristan Tate were going to be arriving at the location. In other words, Andrew and Tristan Tate can accuse sex traffickers. Were going to be arriving at Kanye's house while he was watching their daughter, Northwest. And so she was like, nope, too far from me. Now, I don't know. I don't even know. Now I'm like, I don't know why, but like, this is just someone who's like, you have to buy the whole caboodle, in my opinion. If you're going to buy the Cybertrucks, if you're going to lean into this, if you're going to like hawk all this stuff, then what it comes along with is also trying to get Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate, off of their charges. It comes with a whole world of like misogyny and, manospheredom. And like, again, I'm not saying she shouldn't like leave her child there, but it's just very funny that it's like, oh no, now it's come for you. And you got to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, maybe I don't want my kids around this world that I'm totally immersed in. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it's the same. Have you seen like the Grimes posts on X where she's like, it's very like kind of sad, like public parenting disputes. It's crazy.
No, because like Elon, he does not want to take care of his children. There's like, and like, but honestly, give up custody then. What's the deal? Like, why would you don't want to take care of them anyway. You want to parade them around, pick their nose on Trump's death, which I'm like, this is the best thing Elon's done since he's been in power. Right. But it's just funny that you're like, cause there's been like Elon and Kim K are like connected. I don't know how, but I feel like it's all like those Cybertrucks she didn't pay for. I'm forgetting. I don't know enough. Again, I blocked her. But like, it's just like, yeah, man, it's all fun and games until your psycho ex-husband wants to bring the Tates around, right? When there's actual like sex traffickers. And Andrew Tate and Tristan, by the way, did you know this? They're leaving. They're leaving again.
They're leaving again?
Bye. Oh. They've left to
just got here.
I know. Stay a while. Well,
I was gonna buy one of their scam courses. Now I wanted to ask them about that. Now
if you want to get a lot of bitches, it's really I'm not very good at Andrew Tate, but there's a little bit of Cockney in there mixed with a very American accent. Sharp. Yeah. Andrew Tate said on Twitter that what did he say? Free men. Innocent men don't run. They clear their name.
Innocent men don't run.
Yeah. Innocent men. Don't run. Clear the name.
It's a man, don't run.
So Andrew and Tristan are going back to Romania. They spent $185,000 on a private jet to fly across the Atlantic. Again, this is after visiting. I'm sure they dropped a verse or two on Ye's new track or whatever. and then they went back to Romania again, because Romania actually is bringing these men, or trying to bring these men to justice. They're dual US UK citizens, and they arrived in the US after the end of February after Romanian prosecutors lifted a 2-year travel ban. Again, they're accused of human trafficking, forming an organized group to sexually exploit women in Romania. Andrew Tate is also accused of rape. Yeah. And this is so bye. I hope they don't come back later.
The Kanye West connection here. I mean, yeah, this is if these were my kids, if I were on the Kim K side of this, which I often am. This would be, terrifying, but also, like, I don't know if you read about this, but what's the dude who was running Kanye's campaign? He was like a right-wing influencer guy for a while.
You mean Milo?
Yes. He went in LA and he filed like a legal document. Did you see this? Like it was like an affidavit where he did the most like Hollywood Babylon expose of Kanye's like private life.
Oh my God.
It was one of the most craziest things I've ever read, and it's basically like he's like a real, according to the document, allegedly, he's like just completely addicted to nitrous oxide, and he's doing nitrous
$50,000 a month for recreational I've never done nitrous, but like, when you've seen someone do nitrous, you're like, that's not good. That can't be good for you.
It's like one of those things. If you do like a whippet or something, you're like, okay, that's not something that we should be doing all the. That's hurting
5
the
minutes
brain.
off my life.
Exactly. I'm maybe like 10% dumber now from doing that. That's affected my brain just one time, but doing that all the time is like, I don't know how you come back from that, like psychologically. So that's another element, like somebody who's wheeling around, like Dennis Hopper from Blue Velvet with the thing on, maybe shouldn't be watching a child, it's not the best. I think. I mean,
no,
look,
absolutely. First of all, Kim needs to put all of her money. Again, I don't have a lot of sympathy, but put all of your money into getting custody over your kids, because like, just selling swastika merch alone should be grounds.
Right.
Anyway, enjoy your recalled Cybertruck. Speaking of people who have dabbled with it's all going to be trash today, by the way. It's all going to be.
We're in the dumpster.
We're in the dumpster. And you know what? I don't want to talk about the people at the top of the heap of the dumpster. I don't want to talk about Trump. I'm bored. Mm-hmm. I want to talk about this little twerp. This little neo-Nazi, speaking of people who were friendly with Kanye, this is Nick Fuentes, and people are like, oh, Nick is admitting that Trump is bad. And he's like, going against what he used to say, and he's like repentant. I don't know if I get that from this, RM. You got to listen to this and tell me if you feel like Nick Fuentes, this was, I believe, like a week ago, is repentant here.
As much as I hate to admit it, liberals were right fundamentally about Trump. Whether he has good intentions or bad intentions, whether he means well or not, some people blame his advisors. Some people blame people around him. Whatever you think about his culpability, he is in effect, okay? Maybe not consciously or intentionally, but in effect, what he is a demagogue. What he is a populist demagogue. And directionally, what liberals said about him, which is that he was stirring up the rubes, animating the rubes with name and ginning up resentment against the system to empower himself and the people around him, and then brought the swamp closer to the periphery in his first and second administration, willing to say and do anything. Yeah, that all kind of turned out to be true. Yeah, that basically turned out to be true.
I don't know if you noticed this. He's kind of got the View filter on, the little soft
Oh,
filter.
yeah, he's got that soft focus situation
Out here
happening.
trying to be cute out here, huh?
He finally looks his age. When people are like,
I was
"Oh,
gonna
yeah,
say.
that dude's like 52," he's not actually. I think he's like 36. But I'm like, "Oh, yeah, he kind of is like looking like it, his face starting to get all wide and shit." But God, he needs to really do something with the hair. But like, so this doesn't sound, because I feel like the next clip is gonna be him going like, "We got you, and it's true, we got a demagogue, and it's good, and we like the nativists speak because we do think we should resegregate society." Like that's what he said. Why does he have too many teeth? But like that's so that doesn't. But he's basically like, yeah, this is what it is. First of all, are we seeing the MAGA base versus the MAGA elites happening here? Does the
Could
MAGA
be.
base listen? I mean, I'm sure a lot of neo-Nazis posting Holocaust denial memes on Twitter are like, I didn't want a demagogue. I wanted a democratic white ethno state like Israel.
Right. Well, I kind of read it at what I don't know. I don't know like what he. I've never watched this guy's show, but it sounds like he could be saying like, this guy's not the real deal. He's not the real deal. He's not like racist enough or something. Is that what he's saying?
I think he's saying that I think the swamp comment is the key, right? That
Right.
like Trump is basically surrounding himself with a bunch of corporate CEOs and executives, obviously from Tesla, SpaceX, but from all areas. He's really in with AI. He's in with these, crypto fascists.
Yeah.
And that is the swamp. And liberals were right. I mean, I think he's like, liberals were right. Like, that's what he's doing. That's the game. So we signed up for the authentic racism, the like people powered racism.
Yeah.
We don't want this top down racism. We want the bottom up racism.
I love the innocence of that. Like, wait a second, they threw a bunch of money at this guy. Now he's doing what they say. That's not how politics works in America. What the hell? That's crazy.
But
It's
it is
funny.
sort of like if you thought this was your Bernie and all of a sudden he's like, I love Amazon
Yeah.
Prime, like you'd be like, what? So like, right, but like, do you not pay attention to this dude? Didn't you like him because he was a businessman? Do you know what business is? I feel like people don't know what business is. Like, do you know what business has become in the last, I don't know, 30, 40 years? It's about squeezing you down to a small little sponge. You're just whittling you down to a nub as a worker and shipping your job abroad.
Yeah, and especially like the crypto thing. I mean, they were one of the crypto industry, huge money injections into the the presidential race, and like that one is just the like squeezing people. That's like a next level because it's basically like you're funneling people into like a casino that's like more of a scam than a real casino,
Yep.
and like that's where that's at. And like that is funny though. I mean, it's a similar thing to the Bannon style. Like he's an like an interesting character to watch because he does speak in a lot of material terms, like maybe this guy does, where it's like, oh, the working class and da 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 da. But in the end, their solution, it's because Bannon is like an Ivy League like nerd, I guess, or something like that. But he's like speaking in these kind of like material terms, but it always like the whatever it's always a trick at the end because it's like, oh well, Trump's gonna somehow fix it, or
Right.
we just need a
Well, Bannon
monarch.
also allegedly doesn't like Elon and doesn't like, that like he's cozying up to him. And I think it's all BS. I think it's just
Yeah,
because he doesn't like how it looks. He's like, you have to be hold the oligarchy cards a little bit closer to the chest. You got to like be faux pro-union. You got to like go back and do the thing you did when you talked to coal miners and, you know, looking like Zoolander up in there, you know, just like you've got to pander to and a little bit more. But like that's very different than what, you know, the Heritage Foundation wanted and what Project 2025 is. It's about mass layoffs. It's about a Christian nationalist pro-corporate agenda. And so, yeah, I feel like they're like, oh man, we thought it was going to be a real populist, you know, and again, but we're fine with all the segregation and we're fine with the rescinding of rights from different groups of people and defunding public schools and, you know, making it a crime to be trans, but not like this. So yeah, it's, either way, I hope they get a Neuralink chip implant very, very soon. Look,
Yeah.
we got to talk about the worst senator. This was
Oh boy.
this week. I didn't know he was
Jeez.
back, but Benjamin Netanyahu came back to I guess DC because he needed, I think, some dry cleaning done. Because he always brings dry cleaning. This is true with him, allegedly, to the United States. Now, this week, Israel has been straight up carpet bombing Gaza. The ceasefire's off. We're talking about, I think, over 590 people who have been killed, 200 children. The blockade is back on, so nothing's being allowed in or out. Again, it's still Ramadan. Israel says that Hamas failed to agree to a version of the ceasefire. They basically don't want to do like step 2, which is any permanent ceasefire. They want to do step 1, like, okay, let's make it look good for Trump, but like we don't want an actual ceasefire. Genocide is back on fully. And here is Benjamin Netanyahu presenting truly the worst senator, John Fetterman, with none other than a silver beeper as an emblem, as a token of the attacks that were truly actually terrorist attacks on so-called Hezbollah leaders, but people in Lebanon that killed, yes, innocent civilians.
How about giving him a beeper?
Oh, it's like
Now, this is a silver-plated beeper. The real beeper is like 1/10 the weight. It's nothing. Yeah, but it changes history.
I love how low he talks. It's he's really like, that's again the voice of the devil, just eating nothing but baby bones. The real beeper is a lot. Oh, is it lighter? Oh, it's because it's actually a beeper. You fucking dumb. Like, come on. And it's pretty impressive. I mean, he's Israeli engineering. You know, we've created it all. So here he is, and Fetterman is he's delighted by this.
You know, when that story that story broke, and I was like, oh, I love it, and now it's like, thank you for this. Yeah, no, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
What part did you love? What part? What was your favorite part?
What a charismatic interaction there. Okay, great. There you go.
Yeah, I love it. When that story
it.
broke, man, I
Yeah.
loved it. Look at the wife. By the way, his wife somehow is still with Fetterman. Here they are sitting down. I don't know where they are. Or maybe, wait, did Fetterman visit? This could actually be Fetterman visiting Israel. My bad. If Jesus Christ.
Yikes.
Yeah. So, yay, we give him a beeper.
Yeah, man, he's really fully into this. That's crazy.
It's 1/10 the weight.
Oh, wow. 1/10 the weight, huh? Cool. This it's like terrorism memorabilia or something. Like he's
in
gonna
Israel.
collect it.
The reason I could tell is because it looks like they're in this home. Does not look like in the States.
Right.
And no, he visited Israel. It's his second time visiting. A beautiful time to go. You know, it's the country with the highest on the happiness index, by the way. RM. I didn't know if you knew this, but it's consistently high on the happiest index. The world's 8th happiest country, according to the World Happiness Report in 2025. 8th happiest. Amazing what apartheid can do. For you, for me, for people who aren't Muslim or Palestinian or just kind of look brown or look Muslim. It is a slight dip, however, RM. It was in
Oh.
4th place in 2023.
Oh, jeez. Oh my God.
No, this
Tragic.
never ceases to like terrify me. Like the fact that Israel is one of the happiest countries is absolutely like there's nothing scarier. That dissonance could not be more awful, right? That like, oh yeah, you were ethnically cleansing an entire people. You've taken other people's land. You currently taking people's land. It's like the biggest land grab in the West Bank in, since I think the 67 war or something. And yet y'all are good. You're going to yoga strapped with like your little AR-15s or whatever you think is cutesy because like you're in danger, but you're not. And you're shooting fish in a barrel or children in a cage, really, over there in Gaza. It's just like, and
Terrifying.
it's terrifying. And also, like, number one, have you not been getting super big like Israel, like Zionist vibes from Trump's administration? In my opinion, the way they troll, the way they use their propaganda, the way they're like, putting out these like, just memes to respond to the kinds of like, the kinds of policies that they're enacting. Like it feels very bad Israeli Hezbollah to me, what is happening to the United States. Disappearing activists, of course, locking folks up for their political beliefs. And you have to remember, like, the right in this country loves Israel. They want a militarized society where there is a massive wall between us and the undesirables. Whoever those undesirables are, hey, it could shift from day to day. But now we're invoking the Alien Enemies Act, which was around during the Japanese internment. Maybe we should go back to that. Like that's the level that they believe in. And honestly, like Israel's likely going to be selling all their AI warfare back to us when we start going after the cartels. You're down there in Texas.
Yep.
What do you think about this open warfare on cartels? Is that going to turn out?
I think this is if I'm being real, I think this is a part of like a bigger, military industrial complex whole situation. I think that's part of why, of course they don't want people saying anything remotely critical about Israel, obviously with a guy from Colombia. It's unbelievable, that stuff. But I think it's also part of, they're gonna, all the kind of AI, tech merging with the military and all this stuff. They're going to use that for border stuff, ICE stuff.
Yeah. Massive. I mean, apparently, like, word on the MIT streets is that kids these days don't want to go into tech. They want to go into the military. Like, that's where money
They're
is.
pushing this. Yeah. They're pushing this really hard. I mean, maybe this is a conspiracy type of brain thing, but like, if you look at what's going on with Tesla, which to me was never like a real company with like a real future. I mean, the robot stuff that we saw with Kim Kardashian, a lot of this is just like, it's Elon Musk. It's like hype. It's fake. It's like stock price stuff. And I think they know like China with the cars and the social media and the AI and all that stuff, we're not able to compete on the consumer front anymore. So where do you go? Just military society, and that's super profitable, and it's all these government contracts and all this stuff. That's my theory.
And the other thing I think it's important to know, it's not only like we'll see what happens with Greenland, Canada, I want to talk to you about in a little bit. Panama, obviously, I think the canal's probably a wrap. We're probably going to retake control over that, even though we do have, loose control over it as is. But I also think the other lesson for Israel to take from Israel is the mass surveillance of your own people. It is the mapping of your own people. It's the AI against your own people. I mean, in this case, Palestinians, they don't consider their own people, but like that, I think, is where Trump is bringing the war home. And as much as they hate on China, China is massively surveilled as well. They're jealous only of China's worst wiles, all the good stuff, like, okay, universal healthcare, education. Donald Trump sort of inadvertently gives a lot of props to China over their educational system. Meanwhile, this week he's signing an executive order to dismantle the Department of Ed. But like all the dystopian stuff, the surveillance of the Uyghurs, right? Like all the internal stuff, the criminalizing of media outlets, or just not reporting on stuff. It was crazy. Like years ago, when I first visited China in 2007, the only time I ever visited China. I don't know why, I haven't been back, but it was great. It was so dope. And I met a friend of mine. He was living there. He was living in Beijing, and he said something crazy, and I don't remember the figure, but he's like, do you know how crazy, like how awful the media is here, how totalitarian it is, how much we don't like hear about stuff. Last year, he was like 100,000, something insane. It wasn't that, but it was like, multiple thousands of police precincts that were burned to the ground by rural organizers and activists who were pissed off, especially about like China's land grab, their, lack of access to like, again, their basic subsistence farming, that they would like burn their police precincts down, and you didn't hear anything about it. Like that level of, we will get to a point where we might not even know that there is a demonstration happening, or people rising up, or people angry, because that is like the ultimate clampdown on media and on reporting. Hopefully we won't get there, but I'm just saying, like, that's sort of the level that that's the kind of dystopian that they salivate at. But here in our dystopia, did you know, RM, that there is a children's health defense TV station? Now, for those of you who don't know, Children's Health Defense is the anti-vax organization founded by our current HHS secretary, Robert F. Kennedy. And they have a fucking television station that, I mean, this feels like the NRA TV, but for now. So here we go. Exclusive interview. MMR gave my son autism. Like this kind of stuff. There's no there's a lot of like non-doctors. There's a lot of like health specialists, right?
Right.
And so one of the interviews that they just did, and I verified this, was with the couple in West Texas whose child died because of the measles and because they were not vaccinated. Now, I talked about this like a week ago. There was I think The Atlantic did an interview with this same guy, but now Children's Health Defense is doing it because they do believe RFK Jr. Now, they are Mennonites, and it's just kind of a sight to behold. I don't know what your relationship to Mennonites over there is, but you gotta watch this.
Like, wir sind doctors with the home channel.
She says they would still say, don't do the shots.
Okay, so she's straight up speaking in German, right?
Like, wir sind doctors with the home channel.
She says they would still say, don't do the shots. There's doctors that can help with measles. They're not as bad as they're making it out to be.
Okay, we need to remember that these people were sent home with cough medicine when they brought their child to a hospital, in part because Texas and their hospital system is awful, like especially in rural areas like West Texas. It's the state with the highest number of uninsured people in the country. And they were sent home with cough medicine as their daughter's lungs were like filling with unable to breathe, filling with mucus. It's this massive respiratory infection is what measles does, in addition to the rash, which means it's gotten into your bloodstream and all this. So she says there are good doctors who can take care of your child.
And also the measles are good for the body, for the people.
It's good for the body. It's good for the people.
It's It's
This
sad.
is
It is sad. It is pretty sad.
this is so sad, but I will do a little bit of a German
I'd
accent
love
on
to
this.
go to the house music. We like the house music also. That's
It's
you
a
dance.
lot.
You dance the disease away.
That's what we believe. You just
That's what
wear
we
a little mesh shirt and we dance it. And with our asymmetrical haircut and just make sure that the vibe is good and the DJ's pumping.
Because the measles are getting a what is it? What?
Yeah.
Como se dice cucumber?
The Entzündung. Infection.
For infection.
Yeah, you get an infection out, and
Do you mind this immune system?
Yes,
Yeah.
They're trying to say that the measles actually helps build the immune system in the long run if they get the measles now.
kvinnan är inte så kriv in the long run.
In the long run, the clinics the clinics
Ja, det kan inte så kriv.
Okay, so in the long run, he says they wouldn't get cancer as easily, and like it fights off a lot of stuff. The immunity that they get from the
That's amazing. The immunity that you get from getting the measles. Look, what's great about his deceased daughter is that she won't get cancer.
Technically, they got a point. You can't. Just this logic. I feel bad making fun. Maybe, I don't know. We probably have some agreement with some of the RFK type people where they're like, I'm really skeptical about taking
Harmful dyes, harmful artificial dyes,
seeds.
harmful artificial. What's in
seed
the
oils?
seed oil?
What's in that? Nobody wants you to know about it. The seed oils. A lot of this stuff is unhealthy and these big companies controlling. It's whatever, but it's what is people like RFK really going to do about any of this stuff? Nothing. And then you're kind of you end up in this zone like this where just everybody's skeptical of everything, it's a bad place to be,
Also, we make fun of the Mennonites because they're weird and they're in northern Bolivia and they're a big a corn-fed ass fucking overall wearing red face motherfucker in the middle of all these indigenous communities, and you're okay. So Mennonites are weird, but I kind of feel like we're going toward the sort of Mennonitization of the country, right? You abolish anything centralized, you abolish, you promote religious schools, you promote religious education. Obviously schools, education, you promote sort of all kinds of religious fanaticism or fanaticism generally, and definitely decentralized. And I feel like you kind of get a bunch of uninformed, poorly cared for little religious, the amount of people on a ranch being held against their will, we're gonna that's gonna pop off in 15 years. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Yep.
It's good you're getting out of Texas because I feel like Texas is gonna be target number one for that. But
I'm looking around. I'm trying to figure out which cult I'm gonna join. It's too many. It's a paradox of choice situation.
Well, I think the only way we get, first of all, I think the only way for people who are making less than $300,000 a year to get any kind of tax break is to incorporate as a cult.
Ooh.
And or start a religion. We always joke about it, but I do think we should be starting religions.
I gotta get on this. Yeah. But
we have to make it. To me, it's got to be Jesus adjacent, because you're not gonna get anywhere if you're not Jesus adjacent.
He's got too much clout, too much pull. He's just.
Funnily enough, Islam is Jesus adjacent.
Mm-hmm.
Judaism, very Jesus adjacent. They're all Jesus adjacent.
Right. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I say, just throw him in there. You'll get and I gotta get clicks and views. So I got to put his name in there. for clout reasons. So I think you're right. When we start this cult, it's got to have a Jesus element to it. Well, we'll put our own twist on it, though.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be it'll be a 3 instead of E's. And it'll definitely be like $J3 or J3 US. U.S.
That's cool. That's very cool. That's very hip, J3. The J3, rise up, like we'll do a whole thing.
It'll just be G sus. I don't know. Sorry. Oh boy. G-SUS. It'll be fine. We're gonna we're gonna be fine. No, it's not fun to make fun of them, but it is fun to make fun of them. So I reserve the right because they basically killed their daughter. Elon Musk wants to buy a Supreme Court seat in Wisconsin, and I'm like, why? What is the angle? What the fuck? Stop. You already have the federal government. Calm down. You're already lapping up all of our data, and then you're going to resell it back to us or sell it to Russia or use it to privatize and make your own shitty system, even though Twitter doesn't even work properly. So he's put in now $76 million has been poured into this race. Musk affiliated groups have spent $14 million. It would give the Supreme Court a conservative majority and determine whether liberals will hold their 4-3 majority in the Wisconsin court. April 1st is the voting deadline, by the way. And you can do same-day registration, very important. Now he's offering $100 to registered voters who sign a petition against, quote, activist judges. So this is the same thing that he did. This is according to The Verge, obviously in the run-up to the November election. Then it was $100 million, and I'm like, at least $100,000. Like, I mean, it was $1 million before. $1 million to $100 is a really big downgrade. And like anyway, he only spent like $290 million on Trump anyway. This is all to bolster a guy named Brad Schimmel, who is trailing Dane County Judge Susan Crawford in the race. So yay, Susan Crawford, go Susan Crawford. And I was like, why? Why does he care? Why does he care? I get it. Hoovering up the data, important. Blah, blah, blah. And then you get to it and you're like, oh, this Wisconsin Supreme Court is also personal for Musk outside of politics because Tesla is suing the state. In 2024, Wisconsin blocked Tesla from opening dealerships in the state in line with a law that prohibits manufacturers from operating dealerships. Basic antitrust shit right there. Does that make sense? We don't even understand this in our country because that language is lost on us. The idea that like, if you are a manufacturer, you can't also operate the dealership. We're going to separate those two things. It's better for competition. It's better for, other businesses. It's fairer for other car companies. But he is suing them. In January, Musk posted on X, quote, very important to vote Republican for the Wisconsin Supreme Court to prevent voter fraud. He referenced an election conspiracy theory about voting in his post. So there's an angle. There's always an angle. April 1st, guys. Wisconsin, come out to vote. But you're like, this is what I'm saying with all of Musk's stuff is there's always, it just comes down to him. You're like, maybe Nick Fuentes is right, dude. It's not about any everyday people. It's just about like, how can I personally benefit my brand?
Yeah. As Francesca has always said on this channel, just to make this clear, Nick Fuentes is right.
Yeah.
That you always correct. But you, I kind of think about this like, don't you think that like the U.S. government is kind of like it works on behalf of large corporations, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of been its role forever. And now it's just like, I mean, I guess it's more like noticeable with somebody like Elon Musk and like Mark Andreessen and Peter Thiel and all these guys. It's just sort of like we're not only that's not going to be a kind of like secret, maybe like in the background thing. It's like, no, this is what this is for, like the government works for us. We're the kings, like that kind of thing. It's just like more in the open, I guess.
No, I mean, well, like this is the natural conclusion of years and years and years of undermining the federal government and its ability to regulate, of regulation in general, right? I mean, so much of what we do in the media space and all this is like, that basic principle of dealerships can't own, or manufacturers can't own dealerships, should be applied to media. I mean, it's very funny. We're talking about, everyone in tech now wants to go into military because that's where the money is. Why? I thought Trump was bringing peace, but it's just, sorry, I lost my train of thought, but it's like the natural conclusion of everything we have been building toward is a full corporate takeover of our government, of the richest man being able to buy his way into the Oval Office, of some sorry, half-dead sod who's also a Nazi himself, who's allowing him to do all that. What I was going to say is, like when Amazon wanted to start a streaming service, or when Apple Plus, like everyone's talking about the Severance finale. Don't tell me. But like everyone's talking about, the Severance finale. And I was like thinking about Apple Plus. And on my show, we've talked a lot about how much streamers have destroyed Hollywood, how much streamers have undermined the industry. And you're like, yeah, man, because a tech company should have never been allowed to get into Hollywood. An Apple should never have been like a distributor and the studios. And I know that sounds anathema to us. I know that sounds crazy to be like, well, you can't prevent an Apple company or a company that makes computers and phones from getting into Hollywood. It's like, no, you can. You definitely can. It's actually called having like, robust regulation to prevent that, because you can't be the distributor and the owner of the content. Those have to be separated. So it's in media, it's in film and television, and now again with the military, it's like, why won't Apple roll out their own Israeli beeper to, kill the terrorists in your neighborhood? Like that's, like that kind of shit has to be stamped out when it starts. But we can't do that in this country because we, idolize billionaires. How did they get that way? Illegal practices. How did Microsoft get that way? Stealing other people's their intellectual property. Doing monopolistic practices that boxes everybody else out of the market. Being completely anti-capitalist. Anyway.
What do you think? This was kind of like, I don't know, maybe like a year ago or 9 months ago, there was like a big article that came out. What's that guy's name? But it was about kind of like the end of Hollywood. It's like what you're talking about. And it's like, yeah.
That was so depressing.
Yeah. I'm curious, as somebody who's like in LA, what you think's going to happen, because it's like, I mean,
the life and death of Hollywood.
Yeah, it's a great article. Great article. But and it goes into what you're talking about. But yeah, I'm curious what you think's going to happen when it's like people are getting, like, writers are getting squeezed out more and more. I mean, obviously the quality's going to get worse. But like,
it already is getting worse, man. This is like CGing everything. It's like I'm glad that Snow White, absent of all the racist stuff, there are critiques at the fact that, like, I'm glad they kept the dwarves. Apparently they were going to, like, not do dwarves or little people. You can call them little people. I don't know. But they just replace everybody with CG. So instead of employing 7 actors, you replace them with CG? That's fucked up. Like, why can't DEIA be anti-AI? Like, I'm against DEAI. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Droids, Equinox. What's the E stand for? Droids, electronics, and artificial intelligence. I'm against DEAI. But yeah.
It definitely makes for worse content. I mean, like,
oh yeah.
I finally watched Honora, and it's like,
what'd you think?
I liked it. I mean, I think Sean Baker's probably like the best. People have problems with him. I get the critiques, but I mean, it's like his movies are like, here's like a very intense, very personal situation. Like all his movies are like that, where it's like these are, he's really good at like these are real human situations, and you really feel for them, and they're like moving,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, like AI. I don't think like AI actors and AI generated scripts and stuff are going to be able to do that ever. But they're working by this algorithm of trying to cut the writers out and cut the humanity out of it. Like, yeah, it's gonna be, you're gonna see less and less stuff even close to like the Sean Baker kind of stuff.
I mean, this is like what people said about, I mean, all of this stuff, again, to your point of there's nothing more normal. It seems very American to have corporations and the richest man running the show. It's like we could have stopped all of these things way down the line. Fawning over Elon Musk, putting him on SNL, putting him on all the late night shows. For what? For what? Because he's a billionaire who's like wears a fucking, Launchpad McDuck like jacket. It doesn't matter. Like just because somebody wants to be looked at, I don't know. And again, like it is, so all of that was normalizing him. So the fact that like everyone built this monster, just like everyone built the Donald Trump monster. And there is something very reality TV again about all of this. Donald Trump made from reality TV, made to look like a good businessman from reality television. And so, yeah, I think that like the cheapening of all of this. I mean, when CG first came onto the scene, I don't fucking know, but can you imagine how many set designers? Can you imagine how many, cinematographers, all of the people who lost work, prop makers and costume makers who lost work because of CG, and now they're replacing, which is kind of the most obvious, replacing actual CG technicians and designers with AI. So this has been happening. I mean, I remember talking to John Nichols of The Nation magazine many years ago, but he was just like, what we're also facing that we're not actually being honest about is not the replacement of our jobs, obviously by immigrants, but by robots, this is the big technological hurdle of our lifetimes. Elon knows it. Everybody knows it. The real thing about Elon that's so funny is this fool doesn't just not believe in government. He doesn't believe in humans. He doesn't want humans around, right? This dude wants the singularity to come as soon as possible. That's why he's trotting out these robots to pose with Kim Kardashian and shit. Like, they think we're all expendable and that a hunk of metal is gonna give you this kind of love. No, that what could ever replace us, either intellectually, interpersonally, artistically. That's who we've empowered.
Yeah. I think in that article he talks about like private equity stuff a lot, and that's like, I don't know, for especially when Hollywood's a business and all that stuff, but it's so extreme now, where it's like, with the private equity thing, it's scary because it's like, we don't even see this as like a business made of people. It's just like, how can we cut the number down? How can we?
Yeah.
How can the profit margin?
You're a
go
line
up?
item.
That's it, right? And when it comes
killed
to like,
Toys R Us, you fucks.
Unbelievable.
Never gonna forget that. Now we got to go to Target for our toys for our daughter. Come on. Awful.
But yeah, I guess that's like, when it comes to like art and stuff, it's just like, it's crazy to think of it that way. Like, purely, how can we, it's like, how can we cut the humanity out of this? What with like mass pop culture is, it's crazy.
The private equity thing is just like, I just understood what private equity was maybe like 6 months ago. Like this year, I was like, I think I get it. You buy it up, you sell it for parts. I mean, that's effectively what the United States is being treated as, right?
Oh, yeah.
We're Toys R Us-ing. We are Red Lobstering. We are Sears or JCPenneying. Our Macy's, didn't Macy's also declare? Or I don't know if they did. But it's just going to be a bunch of hollow, like, you know how like you go to Macy's on like at 2 p.m. on a Thursday and it's kind of the saddest shit ever? That's what our government is doing. Or like a J.C. Penney or a Sears, and you're like, what if I don't want to buy tires? What do you guys have? Oh, we just sell sadness, ma'am. Thanks. That's what I thought. Broken
That
dreams.
was especially Sears. I remember there was a Sears kind of near where I live, and I would just drive by, and it would be like haunted. It seemed haunted. Like that's a haunted place, you know?
Yeah,
Just
John Davis, capitalism is dead thanks to the greed of oligarchs. I mean, isn't that amazing? You're like, yeah, I mean, Chomsky used to say this back in the day where it's like, what we have is not capitalism. It is monopolistic, you know, whatever. Like he didn't say late stage capitalism. Late implies death. Late implies it's going away. And that also feels like the 1% kind of knows that their time is limited. And they're missing, it's like, you know, speaking of like a rocket situation, we're going to grind all the pores into fuel and get to Mars combined, you know, like by avoiding revolution, like the fuselages aren't matching up here. They're not quite able to do that. They're going to be a lot of pink, you know what I'm saying? Because like we are not quite expendable enough. We're not destitute enough. They're almost there if we don't say shit. I don't know if I'm making this clear.
No, totally. I mean, it also the kind of like it makes me think of the crypto stuff too, where it's just like this is not like sustainable economic stuff, you know, like having everybody kind of like play the lottery to try to like win like some financial stability is it doesn't look like a recipe for like a stable society. That's not something explosive isn't going to happen, you know?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I just want you to imagine the United States of North America, RM. I want you to imagine that it's not just
Close
the
my eyes.
Outline of the United States, but imagine if we had all of that landmass to the north.
The top part, yeah.
The top part.
That's what I call it, the top part.
The just
Whatever's
like, you know,
up
it's
there.
a 7-layer dip.
Yeah.
We want the olives and the cheese and the sour cream. It's up there. And then it sort of like flits out into I don't know what, ice. I don't even know what's up there. I don't even know
what the hell's going on up there.
What is above Canada. Is it just more Canada,
Just
or
a
is it just
bunch.
penguins?
Just keeps going. Yeah, I think it's Penguin Land.
It's
I call it
penguin land.
Penguin Land.
And also, has anyone ever seen a moose in real life, or are they not real? Because I feel like they're not real.
Yeah, we need to spread awareness about that. I don't think they're real.
I mean, they're so silly looking.
Goofy.
Just
Complete
goofy.
goofballs. Duh. Just walking around with duh. You know,
Those skinny little knobby legs. Apparently, they're very ferocious, actually. I mean, allegedly, because no one's actually ever seen one. But if you were
we'll
to
go.
see one,
Let's do a field report.
all right, we're going to do a field report and find meese. What's the mooses?
We're going to confront some meese. Yeah.
Eric77 says, I've seen a moose.
That's a bot. That's a bot.
That's a bot.
Yeah, that's a bot.
Moose are huge, say not so witty bot. Total bot. Gary Cooper says penguins only live in the southern hemisphere. For now.
Yeah, for now. With that attitude.
Meese are 20 feet tall, says Sassy. Again, look at all these bots.
Shadow ban them. Hit the shadow ban button on them.
Here's Trump reiterating his desire to make one big continuous landmass with Canada.
Coming to me and talking about tariffs, and a lot of people are asking me if they could have exceptions. And once you do that for one, you have to do that for all. So, I mean, generally, I did something interestingly during 2 weeks ago. I gave the American car companies a break, because it would have been unfair if I didn't. And everybody said, oh, he changed his mind on tariffs. I didn't change my mind. I helped our, sort of big three, big four.
Okay, I love this. I love that he's automatically disproving his point. Well, if you give exceptions and exemptions to one industry, you've got to give them to all. But I did give the car companies an exemption because you have to. You
gotta do it.
Have to help them.
I helped some of the American companies And instead of taking it properly, they said, oh, he changed it. I don't change, but the word flexibility is an important word. Sometimes there's flexibility, so there'll be flexibility, but basically it's reciprocal, so that if China is charging us 50% or 30% or 20%, and I don't mean China, I mean anybody, any country, Canada. Nobody knows that Canada is charging our dairy farmers. They have 270% tariffs. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that. They have up to 400%. They have a couple of tariffs at 400%. Nobody knows that. Nobody talks about that. And remember, with Canada, we don't need their cars. We don't need their lumber. We don't need their energy. We don't need anything from.
We just want them moose. We don't need
We're getting-
anything from Canada except your moose.
Are they real? I'm just asking questions. I never seen one.
Canada, and yet it costs us $200 billion a year in subsidy to keep Canada afloat. So when I say they should be a state, I mean that. I really mean that, because we can't be expected to carry a country that is right next to us on our border. It would be a great state. It would be a cherished state. The taxes for Canadian citizens would go down in less than half. They don't spend money on military because they think we're going to protect them. There are many things that they do, like icebreakers.
They think we're going to protect them. This is so mafia, but it's also like a little bit of like, richest man in town knocks on poor peasant's door and asks for your daughter's hand in marriage to be their 8th wife. Like, it's very like,
Right.
you're going to like it being my 51st wife. Very good. And, you've got everything to gain. I can't be helping you out. I can't be supporting you anymore. But if you just, come over and you could sleep in the barn.
We'll figure something out. We'll figure out an arrangement.
Very beautiful, beautiful land.
They want us to provide icebreakers for them. Oh, that's wonderful. So,
icebreakers? What are you talking about? Like trust falls, or they want us to provide icebreakers for them? What kind of icebreakers? Is it like a 2 truths and a lie, or what? Is it celebrity where you have like a card on your forehead and
pickup lines?
What's a Canadian icebreaker? I feel like it's like favorite poutine topping.
Yeah.
Are you cheese or gravy? If you had to pick one, I don't know. Yes, I know there's ships. All right. I know there's ships. So it's to break up all the ice up there.
The Canada, they're very tough traders too. I want to just tell you, all the people, they're tough traders. They trade very tough. And, the expression I use is some people don't have the cards. I used that expression about a week and a half ago, right? Somebody was
It's one of my
negotiating, didn't
favorites.
have the cards, who's now, I think, saying that he wants to do it. And I think we're going to have a big deal on that very special something. We got to make a deal on that. But Canada has been a very nasty negotiator against the United States, took advantage of the United States for a long time. But nobody knows that they were getting 270% tariffs on dairy products.
Okay. I don't know. I'm sure there's a good question coming up. I just like, this is, again, he took the most shameful moment that he's had in 60 days on foreign policy, which is telling Zelensky that he didn't have the cards. And he's like, now it's my favorite line. It's almost like, it's like,
He saw it. I think he maybe watched a movie where they said that, and he's like, "That sounds cool."
It's literally just like a toddler, as a mother to a toddler, doing the shit that they know is going to piss you off, and if you don't react, they'll stop. But you can't help but react, and then, like, that's Trump being like, that line, you don't have the cards. It's like everyone, because people did rightfully freak out about that meeting, and he's like, I love it. I'm going to triple down on that line. You don't have the cards. Canada doesn't have the cards. Are we going to invade Canada, RM?
Good question.
Is this going to happen? They trust our military because they think they'll protect us? Motherfucker, we dragged Canada into... Okay, I've been fact-checked on this before. I don't think they came... They joined us in Iraq. But the war in Afghanistan, a bunch of war on terror bullshit we've dragged Canada into. Like Canada's been like our little Robin, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I guess this makes sense with what we were talking about earlier. I mean, if we were to come up with like a conspiracy theory, it would be, they want total conflict like everywhere, like they're gonna do the the ICE stuff for everybody, and maybe they're just like, we got another enemy, Canada. We're gonna do, some kind of invasion is not totally off the table, if it's all like trying to militarize as much as possible and
I'll
all
be
this
so
stuff.
pissed if I move to Canada and then the US invades Canada. I'll be like, God,
Yeah,
could've
not
just
again.
stayed.
Not
Ah,
again.
nuts.
Yikes. Ah, jeez, I can't catch a break.
Oh my God. I am so like, I think the other thing is like Doug Ford tried to issue retaliatory, I believe, price hikes on electricity that Canada
Yeah.
provides to, what is it, Michigan, New York, and Minnesota. And then they back down immediately. And I'm just like, no, if you want to push comes to shove, I don't know if Canada has the cards. They don't have the
Right.
cards economically. They don't have the cards militarily. Like, if you really want to like lay it out like that, they might be right. You better start monetizing moose, because it's terrifying. And of course, the only cards they have at this point, they're encouraging people, number one, not travel to the United States on some boycott shit, which they should, but also on some like, you might be detained. A French researcher was just detained on his way to Houston, I believe, for a conference because he had something in his phone that was critical of Trump's, policies. Wild.
Jeez. Yeah, that the surveillance stuff is getting crazy. Even I just read a story about them tracking down the the people who have been doing like the Tesla protests and all that stuff. Like, I mean, the amount, I kind of knew this abstractly, but the amount of just like surveillance that we're under is crazy. And that
I mean, this morning, like I talked about on America Unhinged, like that, Fox News is like, should the death penalty be issued for the people who did that to the, the Vegas Tesla dealership? And then Donald Trump tweeting this morning, like, oh, the full force of the law, lock them up, but like just the most. And I was reminding people, like, this has always been the case when it comes to property destruction in this country, actually, and specifically in car dealerships. Labeling folks as eco-terrorists, giving them decades, even though it truly is a symbolic protest that did not kill anyone, did property destruction. I'm not saying that is not a crime, but that is property destruction. So to hit someone with these sentences that are like as if they assaulted somebody is wild, and yet so fitting. Like, I have all the feels when these actions take place. I'm not going to be like, you shouldn't do that. I'm like, you shouldn't get caught doing that, because it is really terrifying. Because if they are sticking people with multi-decade sentences or a decade-long sentence for burning down, in this case, Hummers back in 2002, when the Hummer came out, if you're burning down Tesla dealerships and you've got the added, it's the fossil fuel, but the political thing, it's like, we love defending cars in this fucking country. Oh my God, if only my uterus were a car. Junk.
Yeah.
Drunk. I'm super ovulating, by the way. I'm sorry. I feel it. I'm like,
super chats for that. Let's
super
get those
chats
super
for that.
chats here.
The ovulating host. The one and done child ovulating host. My
The
egg
ovulation room. The
why
ovulation
can't it
room.
be me? Why can't it be me? Inseminate. I'm so sorry, RM. You don't deserve any of this. Where can people find you, listen to you, see you?
RM Brown on YouTube.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, thanks for having me. Always fun. I love your show. I love your show.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I you know what? I try-ish.
I do my best. If I can just reach one person,
If I can just
with
reach
my-
one person.
it all makes it worth it.
Wait, who's this person who has the other RM Brown?
Is there another one?
I don't know.
Okay, stand by for legal action.
No, you know your RM Brown 5736?
I know. Do I have to change that?
I think you have to change.
Is that not optimized?
I don't know, but just type in
Oh.
RM Brown and you're gonna see his content. You trucking along, going crazy over here.
All right, I'm gonna start a feud with that guy.
Start a feud with it's
whoever
like
it
me trying to take down the Francesca on Twitter at Francesca. She's like some fashion blogger. Anyway, okay. Bye, RM. I hope to do a live show with you very soon.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm excited.
Hell yeah. Okay, take care. Thank you so much and have a good weekend, and everybody. Let's read some comments. Dave L says, and thank you for the super chat. Varoufakis's take is that Trump is intentionally devaluing the dollar to try to lay the foundation for an export economy. He also thinks it'll be a fiasco, but that's his take. I mean, that's not wrong. It's just the most dumbass perspective to have. Like, you would, like, again, 35 years, 35 years of global capitalism, and you are at the top. You are the fat hen, you know? You are at the top of the heap of global capitalism with the dollar, with the trade deals. You know, your companies are crushing it worldwide, and you're going to deliberately devalue the dollar in order for what? In order to coax companies to move back stateside? Do you understand how many years and also how much destitution you want to put us on the level of like Haiti, Vietnam, Sri Lanka? Do you know what I'm saying? You want garment workers to compete? Like, this is what you're talking about. This is that desire to devalue the dollar is number one. It's like it's like imagining that the economy is some, you know, brilliant, beautiful, pristine system that works in capitalism and the invisible hand of the market, even though it is totally rigged. It's imagining that will somehow smile on you and work in your favor. It is completely destroying the status that you once had, and you are feeding your workers to the wood chipper. Like, that is what it would take. We're workers, you're citizens. That's not how you build up national industry. I'm not saying that like incentives aren't important, but why don't we redirect those incentives and do things like the Build Back Better bill or the Inflation Reduction Act, right? Or, you know, give people tax credits for installing solar and all this, or like developing solar. Like, all of that is how you compete. You don't compete by devaluing the dollar and creating the export economy when you've had 30 years of destroying the national economy and making sure we are simply a consumerist economy. That is so wild to me. And again, I'm someone, look, merchandise from the Bitchuation Room is all union made in the United States. That's not on some xenophobic shit, but I'm just trying to support, you know, all the workers here, support unions. Support garment workers. Bitchuationroom.com is where you go to get that. But like, that is dumb guy shit. That is like, it's terrifying. That's terrifying. Okay. I'm done. Thank you, Doug. That above Canada is just ice. I'm so glad there's ice somewhere on Earth left. Like, that's important. That ice is good. William McGregor, books available at Yale are also available at your public library. A piece of paper doesn't mean you're not a piece of crap. I don't know what that's in reference to, but thank you. Basically, you don't have to have a diploma to read what the Ivy Leaguers read. And I support your local libraries, everybody. Dizzle McFizzle, thank you for your super chat. What if John Fetterman's playing the long game and he claps Netanyahu in the meeting? I don't think so. Nope, I don't think so. But I don't know what his long game is. I think the guy's like, I don't believe in anything but money, and APAC is the quickest way to get as much money as I possibly need. And then I'm going to get out of here. And then I'm going to do what Kirsten Sinema's doing and literally hawk Coinbase. She's now working for Coinbase. Get Dad says, Arm loves touching his face so much. LMAO dad. Very true. And Marco, thank you for your super chat. And Furry Fat Dejusfong. That is a dope name. That's a dope name. I don't know if that's your real name, but that's a tight name. Thank you for becoming a member. Penelope is giving me money for a reusable flosser because of something I said on the not the majority report, the damage report. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'll get a reusable flosser. Calm down. And thank you guys all so much. Anyone over on Twitch is kind of slow these days. I don't know what's going on. But I will thank Stranix76 for cheering some bits a couple days ago, and Crispy343. Love your strength and resolve, says Stranix. Love your show, says Crispy343. Love you, and thank you, Twin Brian84 for subscribing, Mouse and a Dragon Onesie for subscribing, Kahoo for subscribing over on Twitch. Ice Queen also subscribed. And y'all, I will see you on Tuesday. We have comedian Kate Willett on the show. It's going to be really good. And until then, oh my God, do some shit, y'all. Write a sign, go to a demo, support people, join a protest to free Mahmoud Khalil, go see live comedy. I will be in San Francisco, California on May 7th. Very excited for that co-headlining show with my husband, Matt Lieb. Get tickets, cobbscomedy.com or francescafiorentini.com. And until Tuesday, I'll see you guys. I love you guys. Bye.